everybody. So it's been about almost 2 years since I last did a review on loupes, and I want to explain the difference between the Pentax loupes and the Surgital loupes. So I have to give a shout out to both Karine and Jin in Belgium and in America who sent them to me. I've been using them now extensively, and so let's go through a few things. So I'm not saying what I think is the best one. I want to really be absolutely clear on what the advantages and disadvantages both sides. So starting off with getting the box, obviously the Surgital one is really nice. The loupes come in the box like this. There's the charger, which I've put to the side. There's a couple of things here. So the first thing to understand is these loupes are specifically designed for your face. So they're through the lens loupes, okay? And they've got a light source to them. So these have been designed for my eyes. They can come in different sizes from like 2 magnification to 5 magnification, etc. Then there's small little extra magnifications you can actually add to the front of the loupes as well if you want to. Okay, so this is what it looks like in the set. On the Pentax side, it's a smaller carry case, which is designed actually just for the loupes and not the additional light source. Okay, so the light source I had to add additionally. Now, the difference between these loupes is these aren't through the lens loupes, okay? These loupes are actually freestanding loupes that you can actually set for your own eyes, both moving them in and out, and also over here with your piece across your nose. So a couple of things. Firstly, the weight, significantly heavier, the Pentax ones, but both of them have the system where you actually tying them onto the back of your neck, okay? Now, before we talk further about the loupes, just touch base on the light sources. So the Surgital light source compared to the Pentax, it's a much smaller, lighter light source, and it lasts much longer. On top of that, the light itself is much brighter. So I'll just demonstrate that to you. So in terms of light, there's just no comparison between them. So if you look at this one here, that's how bright it is, okay? And then I will show the other light source on this side, and then we'll compare the two to each other. So this, the advantage is it's got an on-off switch here, so you can on and off it in your pocket very easily, whereas that one doesn't have that. And then this, it's the same as the other one in terms of the intensity, okay? So let's just look at those two. So this is at its highest intensity, okay, like that. And let's chuck this baby on its highest intensity next to them, okay? So this also gives you a clue. This light field is much bigger than this light field. I'm going to talk about that now. So that's as far as the batteries go. So the hands down battery is far better on Surgital. It lasts longer, it's a brighter light, it's a wonderful light on this side. Okay, now let's just chat a little bit about the loupes and compare them to each other. So if we look at the loupes themselves, okay? Obviously, I mean, this is like comparing like Mercedes-Benz and BMW. These are brilliant, brilliant loupes, both of them. What this one does is, the difference between these loupes is both of them are not causing so much pain on your neck that you don't have to look down, okay? However, it's a prism loop with a Pentax, so they're slightly more downward looking than this. So my neck doesn't have to bend as much when I use the Pentax compared to the Surgital, okay? One thing. The second thing is the field of vision in the Pentax is far wider than the very focused field of vision in the Surgital. So if you're operating on one really small area, absolutely. If you're wanting to see a slightly bigger picture, absolutely here. This advantage is you can change the loupes for your setting, but then you need to make sure that you screw them back and they don't move, okay? The other thing which is really nice about these loupes is you can actually, by turning this, you can decide how far down your depth of field is going to be, okay? And you can change the different eyes accordingly, and then you lock them in place. So these lenses are possibly more advanced. I think they're quite a lot more expensive. The setup you can see in the eye, as far as the light source isn't nearly as smooth as on the Surgitel. So what I want to show you now is if I put these on, okay, and I'm going to focus, for example, if I'm standing up, so I'm standing up for my rhinoplasty, and my patient is lying on the floor in front of me. I'm not going to move, so I'm operating at this point here. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be not changing anything, but this is the area, and just look at my fingers. As soon as I go past that, I can't really focus. So this is the size of what I am going to be operating in, okay? So have a look at two things. Firstly, the size, but secondly, look at how bent my neck is here, okay? So that's where I'm at. Now let's swap around, put the Pentax loupes on, and see what we do there. So in terms of the Pentax ones, a little bit more bulky. Also, where I will at the back here, tighten them. And you see these are loupes that are movable. Okay, so if I now look at where I am, see what my neck's doing, okay? And look at how wide my hands are. So that is my field that I'm operating in, quite comfortably. Whereas with the Surgitel, it was that small, right focused in the middle. This, I can still focus on the sides of my hands. So my neck's not as bent. I've got a bigger field of vision. In terms of the depth where we can operate, they're pretty much the standard. Yeah, so let's just tie it all together once more. I think they're both brilliant products. The light source in terms of Surgitel is a no-brainer. So Pentax needs to up their game in terms of that. In terms of if you're looking for a very specific small field of view that is built for you, that's not going to change, nobody else can use them, the Surgitel ones are focused on that. If you're looking for something slightly bigger, less strain on your neck, on the Pentax side, that's obviously good. So I'm trying to hope that this is a really honest reflection. They are great loupes. You're not going wrong with any of them. If you want to reach out to me, get any contact details, please do so. But otherwise, go and have great facial plastics and rhinoplasty surgery.